The Twins have made another signing. It's not your left-handed reliever. It's not a first baseman. It is Donovan Solano, who is a middle infielder and third baseman. He's joining the Twins in 2023. This is so interesting. Let's talk about it. So, like I just said, the Twins went out and got another infielder, okay? At least it's not an outfielder, I guess, but their infield has Carlos Correa coupled by the likes of Polanco, Miranda, Royce Lewis, and I mean, you can throw in a couple of other guys there, maybe like Nick Gordon, Kirilloff if he wants to play first. But there's quite a bit of depth there around the infield part of it. And of course, like we've talked about so many times, they don't need any more outfielders. They need pitching. Why are they signing a 34-year-old middle infielder? Okay? This is just where I'm lost. Okay? I don't want to knock Solano here. I don't want to knock him, but this is not the guy the Twins needed right now. And I'm gonna go off on this rant, this trajectory here, that this is a mistake, but not in the sense maybe that you would think it's a mistake, all right? So I want to know what you think down in the comments below. Let's talk about this. I'd love to talk to you about Twins baseball, but let's go through who Donovan Solano is, right? He is a 5'8", 210-pound, 35-year-old. So he's 35 now. And he's a second baseman, third baseman, and shortstop. He played in the majors couple years, 2012 to 2016, then was off for 2 years. I'm guessing he just didn't make the cut because when he was with the Yankees during that time, only played in 9 games. They either released him or they put him in the minor leagues. Then he got another startup with the Giants, and last year played with the Reds. So I guess he got better or got another chance, but none of his numbers are fantastic. Outside of 2020, where he was an almost everyday starter with the Giants, he won a Silver Slugger, batted .326 in 54 games, had 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. No other season sticks out. The batting average is there, but it's in limited at-bats, right? For example, last year, he had 80 games played, so just about half games played, 284 average. Pretty good. The OPS, though, is only 724. Not, super, super great. I would say it's not bad, but comparatively, again, to his years, 815, 828, 748, all better numbers. So you look at even last year when he was with the Reds, not having like a great season, not having a bad season, did kind of play all over the infield for the Reds, and again, about halftime, did end up with 4 home runs and 24 RBIs, but it's just like, what is his purpose? Okay, that's kind of where I want to go. You just heard the numbers. What is his purpose? I don't think he has one. Like, that is what I'm saying, is like, this guy is older. He's not your typical MLB statue, right? He's not your 6'2", 250-pound guy. That's probably a little bit too much. 200-pound guy, though, right? Who's going to, hit some tanks. A little shorter, a little bigger maybe for 5'8". Like, that, to me, just is like, okay, he's not your typical baseball player maybe, but, like, then where do you even put him, right? If he's a second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, you have Correa. Are you going to move him? What are you going to do with, like, you just spent $215 million on Correa for 6 years. You're going to keep him, right? He's going to be your everyday starter. Duh. You went out and got Kyle Farmer, another Red, by the way. You got Kyle Farmer. Why? Like, is he your bench guy? I would see him being more of your bench guy out of Correa, Miranda, Polanco, and then the first baseman. Again, if you want to put Miranda at first base for a day, okay, then you put Farmer in there. Or maybe, because Royce Lewis is not going to third base. So that's the only, reason I see you playing Farmer even. And now you just got another guy who's even older, and you have to put him somewhere, and that's where he's going to play, right? Or he's going to play the bench. And that's just what I'm getting at, is like, even Royce Lewis, right? I don't think Royce Lewis plays very much this year. you had this stupid situation where you put him in the outfield, and that's why you got hurt. And now you went out and signed Carlos Correa again. Like, that is the reason. Royce Lewis was going to be the starter last year until they signed Carlos Correa. Then he got bumped back, right? And did end up coming up because Correa was hurt a little bit, and he got an opportunity for 10 games or 14 games before he got hurt. But, like, you're talking about even a guy as talented as Royce Lewis, as young and up-and-coming with that much potential as Royce Lewis, did not get to start because Carlos Correa was there. And I think that's understandable for a lot of Twins fans. Like, I don't love Carlos Correa. I would rather see Lewis. But then go down the line, okay, where is Farmer going to play? And now, where does Solano play? Like, do you see what I'm getting at here? Is there's just no place for him. And again, if you want to look at the outfield, the DH spot, like, you've got 9 outfielders on this team still. Okay, Kepler is still on the team. You're going to have Nick Gordon probably play left and maybe some second base, maybe some DH, depending on who's playing where. Like, you do not have room for another infielder, and then to even figure out where to put him, like I said, you could maybe fit him in the outfield for one game. It doesn't add up. And, again, I'm not saying that this is the worst pick in the world. He's okay. He's a little bit of a below-average hitter. Had a .8 WAR last year. In 9 years, he's had 5 WAR. That's not terrible. But it's just like there is no room. There is no room, and there are other needs that the Twins need to look at, which is the Brad Hand situation, right? A lefty reliever or a first baseman. Like, are you expecting Kirilloff and Miranda to split that only? Like, are they the only 2 first basemen? Do you throw Gallo in there? Like, that you have to work through first rather than just signing a 35-year-old second base, third base, shortstop, right? So that leaves... That's the situation. Like, there is no room for him. So what do? You just signed this guy, and this is my thoughts here. This guy is going to be the first guy cut. Like, this was probably let's give him a shot kind of thing and see what he can do. Maybe they're expecting one of their other infielders to be hurt right away. Like, if Kyle Farmer can't go, or on the roster they have Edward Julian. Like, if he can't go, like, I don't think he even is on the roster. Like, he's not going to make the 25-man opening day roster because you already have 5 other guys, and now add Solano, who I would say is probably better than a guy who's 23 years old, or at least in that term, a rookie guy. So, like, I think that Solano is there for a spring training invite, and he will be the first one cut, or if the Twins go out and make, get that left-handed reliever or a first baseman they want to go get Hand, like, this guy is the first guy off the roster. And the most interesting thing about this, though, is I don't know if the Twins are at their 40-man capacity. I believe so. When you have 9 outfielders, 6 infielders, 2 catchers, you're already at 17. They have a ton of pitchers. I don't know how many pitchers they have on this roster list right here. It looks probably about 23. I mean, so you're probably very, very close. They're going to have to get rid of somebody if they have that 40-man roster to accommodate for Solano, right? Who do you get rid of? Okay, if you're looking at pitchers, again, like Brent Hedrick, I mentioned it in another video before. Brent Hedrick is a lefty pitcher who doesn't have a picture on his roster profile. You look at Julian, doesn't have a picture. Those 2 guys are the only 2 guys I could think that would get cut before anyone else, because are you going to cut Ober? Are you going to cut Griffin Jacks? Like, some of these, like, guys who are a little older, have a little bit more experience, but are decent, right? They're not bad. Emilio Pagan, like, yeah, he had a rough year last year, but are you going to cut him for a second base double backup? That's just where I see. The last thing I could think of for this video, based on Solano and what he brings, is you're going to still trade Royce Lewis. Like, that has to be a front-of-mind thing for Twins fans. You kept Carlos Correa for 6 years, right? 6 years. That means Royce Lewis, by the time that Carlos Correa is done with his contract, he will be 29 years old, just about. Like, clearly, the Twins are going to either use him or lose him during that 6-year time. Like, there's no way they're going to keep him on the bench for 6 years, right? That would be delusional. But he doesn't fit somewhere right now, really, because Carlos Correa is blocking him. Like I said, the same reason he has not started last year was because Carlos Correa was blocking him. Buxton's still in center. Like, that's the only reason he was out there is because he was hurt. There is no spot for Lewis. There is no spot for Solano. But if you went out and made this point of getting Solano for whatever reason, you have to get rid of somebody. And if that's not Royce Lewis, because I do think that they value him, and I would love to see Royce Lewis as a Twin, except for he's just the youngest and kind of makes the most sense to get rid of him because there's so much value there. Like, maybe you get rid of Polanco. Maybe. Like, again, that's the only thing I can think of, but he's your switch hitter. You're not going to get rid of Miranda after the season he had last year. Well, I guess they could, but I don't think that'd be a smart idea because then you don't have a third baseman or a first base. Like, he can do both. Like, I guess maybe you get rid of Kyle Farmer. I think he was hurt for a little while. I don't think he's going to start on the roster, so maybe that helps this space open up. If that is correct. If it's not, then again, you're still in the same situation. Like, Royce Lewis is the movable target, I think. And because there is so much value there with the potential that he can bring, that's the only thing I can think of. Because you're not going to get rid of an outfielder. Then you'd have 6 guys on the infield and 8 guys in the outfield. It only makes sense that you're either going to get rid of Julian, like, or your pitcher, whatever, and just move them down because they shouldn't be on the 40-man roster probably anyway. You use him as this first guy gone situation, or you trade either Royce Lewis, Polanco. I guess you could throw in Miranda, but realistically, one of those 2 guys. That would be crazy. That would be nuts if they did that. So they better not, is what I'm saying. But it really doesn't make sense from a playing perspective. And there are so many more other issues that the Twins have to address. Specifically, first base, I think just making sure you know what you're doing there, and then the left field or the left-handed reliever. This should not have been a move that they made, but again, that's why I leave it up to you. Let me know down in the comments if you think this was the right move, if you like this move, or what you think the ramifications are going to be from this move. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.